Welcome, everybody, to another live show. So happy to have you with me here today. Gwyneth B is here, Stacy Brown is here, Elian. You might notice I have a different background behind me because I have three bicycles sitting in my office where I normally shoot because I'm going back to Manhattan on Saturday. And it is so hot that if I leave the bicycles in the garage, the tires will rot. So I turn the bikes upside down and I put them in the office where you've seen me each week. Welcome to today's discussion. I'm really excited to be branching into extended areas about us on the inside, each one of us. Because what's so beautiful about the kind of work that we're doing together is, of course, it applies to your relationship. It applies to all of your relationships. It applies to your work relationships, to business. And many of us, the people who follow me, are really nice people, good people, trying to find their way through this world, be the person they respect being, and still get love. You don't want to play games. You don't want to be manipulative, but you don't want to be manipulated. And more times than not, most of you skew toward being too nice, too generous, overly giving. Um, and that category, the blanket term, is people pleasing. It's where we start to give ourselves up in order to make them happy. And it's so easy to do. Many of you fear being in a relationship because you fear losing yourself, because some of us literally do lose who we are when we love. So today I'm going to talk about 6 things that categorize a people pleaser. I'm going to bring you a little bit closer to me. I am going to, let's see, just get it just right here. 6 things that categorize a people pleaser. And I'm going to, this looks a little fuzzy. Hang on. It just looks a little dirty here. There we go. And then I'm going to give you the cure. Okay. Gladys is here. Hi, Gladys. Editha is here. Richard, Shilly, how are you, everybody? Before I start, are you all subscribed? I hope you are. And did you put the bell on for the notice? There will be some Thursday shows where I'm not available during the summer. There'll be a couple of weeks. Gwyneth and B already know the dates, but I'll have them listed as well on the community page. And I love the fact that you are here. And if you are a subscriber, if you put on the notification bell, each time there's a new video or whatever, it pops up in your feed, because I do realize that for myself and for my colleagues, YouTube has been shifting the algorithm. So the stars of 10 years have now been reshuttled and new people are coming forward. You may never find us. And that's sad. I have people who find me and say, oh my God, I thought you were out of the business. I'm like, no, I'm here. So make sure that you put on the notifications. Okay, you are subscribed. Good. Now, are you all on my newsletter? And I'm asking you that because, listen, I don't keep your data. You want it taken away, you can unsubscribe at any time. But what I do is twice a month, I'll tell you the sales, the bargains, and inside deals that nobody else knows about, because I value the fact that you're that serious that you'd be willing to open up a newsletter. So I'm going to be in Milan this summer, and I'm getting now responses from people that I've announced in the newsletter that I'm going to be there and how to get a hold of me. I haven't done any general announcements yet. So first come, first serve. You get the best times if you contact me right away. So on the newsletter, it's susanwinter.net, and it's the homepage, and you sign in, and I'll be advertising this to all of you. Plus, you get breaks and discounts. I just gave a lady a free consultation because she answered a question, Chiara from Italy. We had a contest on the most unconventional Valentines. Like what love do you have that is unconventional? And she gave the most unique response. So she got a free consultation session. So there's a lot of good stuff there. At any rate, thank you all for joining the show. If you have a specific question on this topic or on something else, put it in the super chat. Otherwise, I'll catch you as I can. I hope everybody's doing well today. Let's talk about people pleasing. Now, before I have this conversation, I know that many of you are deeply involved in internal growth. And what I love about my audience is you are so bright, spiritually, psychologically, and you're self aware. I've never talked down to anybody, so I get the cream of the crop. So I know that you're familiar with this, but to alleviate any kind of guilt or sadness or, oh God, I haven't done all my work on ourselves is never done. No matter how far we think we've come, we hit another horizon and we see something else that we can improve because we're learning and growing. I want you all to remember, if you suffer from people pleasing, because I have had this plague me my entire life, okay? And I've lived a lot of decades and I'm really starting to handle it now. I knew it, but I didn't think it impacted my life that seriously till I started to look at the choices I made and the things I didn't do. The times I backed down when I should have stood up for myself, the times I was mute to try to be nice, the times that I gave up things I wanted to be nice, to be agreeable. And then I wonder why I have less and less and less enjoyment, less joy, less happiness in the relationship because it's totally crafted for the other person. Perfect partner, really discontent. So I'm going to walk you through all of this and remind you that the tricks and the positions that we learned as children, our formative template, it's still here. Those programs are still running us. And we might be able to label them, we might be able to see it. It's an ongoing act of courage to embrace it and work our way through it as it occurs. Okay. So I'll go into these 6 steps, the 6 times it can occur generally, and then how you handle it. But it's an ongoing process. I want to remind you that the brilliance that enabled you to survive your childhood, the skills that you learned to adapt and maneuver, they have served you well, but they can also hold you back. And what might have worked in our family of origin for our survival is no longer necessary now that we're an adult. And we're still defaulting to that. So, for those of you that had to mediate parents that were fighting, for those of you who had an enmeshed parent and then a dismissive parent at the same time, one parent where you were the center of the world and the other one where they were constantly battling you and trying to diminish you, you fall into the people pleaser. And you're probably an overachiever. You're an insecure overachiever. You can't do enough because you're always trying to be good enough. No matter what you do, you could be better. And the bar that you have for yourself is such at a perfectionist level because it's seeking that approval. And the approval is the people pleasing. That if I please you, I'll get your approval. And again, the awful truth is, oh my God, wait a minute. That's external. That's based on me hoping they like me, hoping they think I'm good, hoping they think I'm the best at my job. So your inner core of your self esteem is constantly at risk of the whims of a person, an industry, a boss, a colleague, a lover. So, this we need to fix. Before I start, let me just say the other hellos to everybody. Oh, thank you so much. I love this from ET from Munich. I love that I've had the chance to meet so many of you. And again, please remember, I'm going to talk about Milan. I'll be in Milan early August, the first 6 days of August in 2025, and I'm already accepting consultations. I have one person right now, so I'm looking at the others that are writing me. So you go to susanwinter.net, go to the media at susanwinter.net. Let me know that you want to go. The topic would be heading of the subject letter is Milan. Okay, now let me go on here. Tell me if any of these are something that you might happen to do. You feel the constant imperative to say yes, even when you don't want to. You're overly agreeable. Like somebody asks you to do something, you don't want to. It takes effort from you, but you want to be nice. You want to be a team player. So you're like, oh, okay, I'll do it. Now, this is lovely for those who work with you. This is great for your mate. But you will end up being depleted of your own energy. And the bad side of this is that you will continually learn to subjugate your needs and wants and desires to amend yourself to somebody else's time schedule. They keep changing times on you. They keep changing appointments. They keep changing days. They don't thank you, whatever. But you're expected to do a lot of work that isn't yours. And if you get into a habit of doing this, you'll be the one who always does it, always. And we get like stuck in these slots. I had a college roommate who loved to clean. I mean, well, honestly, I think she loved to clean because she was always cleaning. Now, she never asked me to clean the kitchen. I didn't cook in the kitchen. I think I was on Weight Watchers or something, and I made little tiny meals. And she would feed herself and her boyfriend every night. So there's a lot of cooking. They had a big dinner. So I remember she used to leave like Ajax powder marks on the surface. And I thought she was kind of doing that to like show me, yeah, see, I cleaned. She was a lovely gal, but she never asked me to do it. I cleaned up after myself, but I didn't generally clean the whole kitchen. If she'd asked me, I would have been willing to do it. But even me, I went, okay, she likes to do it, so I'm just going to let her do it. And that's how you can get stuck doing things you don't want to do. So that's number one. Okay, constantly saying yes. If you have the tendency to say yes right away to help somebody out, keep listening. You might be a people pleaser. Number two, you hide or you minimize your own needs. When somebody else's need is dominant, you will press yours down to make it convenient or easy for them. Oftentimes, this is because we're afraid of conflict, and that's another one of the issues. But you downplay what you want, and you kind of adopt the persona of being chill and easygoing, which is wonderful to not live in high anxiety, but maybe you're not speaking up for yourself. And what happens is the cumulative effect, again, is less joy, less happiness for you. Believe me, folks, you can get so good at this that if somebody asks you what makes you happy, you will not be able to answer them. I've had people asking me that for years, and I have to sit down and think. And that's on me. I've got to fix that before I leave this planet. It's about time, right? So, how do you know what makes you happy when you've always been taking care of somebody else to make them happy? You don't know. You haven't had time. You haven't had the indulgence. You haven't had the headspace to do it. So you tend to minimize your needs. Okay, Shirley says, I'm overly agreeable and feel bad about upsetting someone. I think you qualify. Don't worry, I'm in this group too. We're highly functional, very agreeable to be with, but we can become resentful, okay? Um, if I don't find a joke funny, I laugh to spare feelings. Okay, you're trying to manage their feelings. That's another one of these too. Then get shocked and hurt when they don't spare mine. Again, think of my roommate who always cleaned the kitchen. It appeared to me that that was her job. Unconsciously, Shirley, we program these people to have you be the jester, but you're not funny because you're supposed to laugh at them. Whether we know it or not, we've taught them. This is how you look at us. We're only here to reflect you. This is all I am. You don't have to bother to reflect me. Good news, we get to adjust that, the teeter-totter thing. So we're way over here taking care of them. And, they don't laugh at your jokes. But the thing is that it will recalibrate when you start to recalibrate. Gwari, someone who comes from constantly fighting parents, you always are in, I hope he likes me phase. called as auditioning the whole relationship. Absolutely, absolutely. That's one of the hallmarks of the traits. Again, I think it's the core belief that we get the message that I'm not enough. I'm not enough in and of myself. I know that's my thing. No matter what I do, no matter what career I'm in, it wasn't enough. I could have done more. I should have done more. I should have been at a higher level. I should have, you know, I know. Is it people pleasing if you try to find interest in your partner's hobbies, or is that just being a good partner? That is being a good partner. Okay. If you give up doing what you love to only do what they love, that's people pleasing. Okay. So constantly saying yes when you don't want to, pushing down your feelings. This one, big one. I'm a huge violator of this. Okay. Um, Fear of conflict. Hate disagreements. I grew up in a household that was, I had a violent mother. I hate fighting. I got anywhere near it, I recoil. There's fight, flight, and freeze. I absolutely freeze. I freeze. And if I can, I fly. I get away. It's so uncomfortable for me. It just trigger and like I'm being real about this because you have to understand I've been working on a lot of other things other than this because I'm pretty functional. When you really start to take time to begin to work on yourself and maybe you let some areas of your life go a little bit, like, okay, I've got that one sorted, then you can finally address this stuff. But awareness is the first step, just so you know. Just the fact that you're aware of it. And I knew I was right. You're all built the same way. Otherwise, you wouldn't relate to me at all. If I were here teaching you games and manipulation, and like, oh, how to seduce them and how to manipulate them, you'd be a whole different audience. So I'm figuring you're pretty much like me anyway. Okay. So avoiding disagreement at any cost. And oftentimes that means you ignore stuff that's going wrong because you just don't want the fight. And guess what? The people that you attract are volatile. They're impatient, they're moody. Guess what? You're the perfect mate. You know why? Because they never have to be held accountable. You're always smoothing things over for them, walking on eggshells, making sure they're okay. Your whole life in the relationship is spent making sure that they're okay so you can breathe and just get through the day. That's right, Nika. Nika's growling. That's right. Yeah, that's right. Nika's a proud Pomsky. She doesn't stand for any of this stuff. She's got all her boyfriends wrapped around her fingers. Okay, so you hate the disagreements. And because you hate the disagreements and you're afraid of conflict, you do not stand up for yourself. Guess what? That means boundaries. You're letting these people ride all over your boundaries. And then you're getting on the phone with me in a consultation telling me that you're unhappy with your relationships. It's this root, this deep root here. Okay. Uh, Over apologizing. Oh my God in heaven. And I'm not even British. I thank ChatGPT. I say please to ChatGPT because I'll write what I want to write and then I'll say, get rid of the wordiness. And they know me. I say, write in the tone of Susan Winter. I'm Susan Winters. Okay, it's not plagiarism. They're like, Susan Winter believes blah, 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 blah. But I thank ChatGPT. Overly polite, always saying you apologize. Somebody bumps into me in the street in Manhattan. I say, oh, sorry. It comes out so quickly, I can't stop it. So quickly. So you're always taking responsibility for somebody else's bad behavior. Like this is so automatic. I don't even know. I can't tell you how many times I've said, and I've had girlfriends say, Susan, you don't have to say you're sorry. Oh, like if you turn down, um, let's say you don't want to go to something and you've really got the courage to say you don't want to go, but you want to try and live up to their expectations and make them happy. So you go into this whole explanation. Like you don't just say no to something. You're like, no, I'm so sorry I can't come. Okay, this is a Susan thing. I'm so sorry I can't come. Actually, that's the day before I'm leaving and I've got back-to-back appointments. I'd love to see you. But otherwise, it's like, I'm so terrified that if I just say, no, I'm sorry I can't and leave it like that they'll be hurt or offended. Micromanaging the projection of somebody else's emotions, not my business if I'm polite and I'm thoughtful. So, yes, oh my God, I joined this live to be attacked. Susan is on point today. Quarry, not attacked. I'm revealing myself. I mean, I start to look at some of these and it's like you slit me open and it's terrifying, terrifying. But if we don't look at it, we can never start to fix it. I've gotten better. One of the ways that I did was I start with low bars, and I'll get into the fixing this, but I started with low bars by filtering, starting in the early 2000s, filtering everybody who was in my life because I never put a filter on who came into my life as a friend. And I had a bunch of people that it always cost me something to be with them. It cost me time listening to their problems that I really knew that they were never going to address and give them advice and they weren't going to fix it. It cost me money to take them out because they couldn't afford to go out. It cost me energy to help them in their career. I mean, all these things were my private time. I don't know why. It's like I always had to give an upfront compromise in the relationship to like be of service to the relationship. I'm thinking like, no wonder. But see, what I'm saying is if you're disillusioned with your friends, you're disillusioned with the way people treat you, you're disillusioned with your partner. Where are you in that training, positioning of them? Are you on the far end where you ask for nothing, have no boundaries, do everything to please them, always feel that you need to be earning their love in service of them? Because you're never going to be happy, ever. And it will be less and less rewarding, and you will attract your opposite. Believe me. The more, okay, I have a guy friend. I don't even know that I should say his name. Maybe I've said this in the past. So functional, so responsible, does everybody's work for them, and a dream to work with. He's my audio guy, and he's been my tech guy for a long time. Love this man, love him, because he can be anywhere in the world and gets a text from me that and said, he's like, I'm on it. So responsible. Guess who he attracts? Girlfriend after girlfriend after girlfriend. Unappreciative, non-functional women. They can't they can't do anything. He's got to write the CV for them. He's got to help them with their job interview. He's got to help them with this. They can't get any money together. They don't know where to live. He's got to take care of them. Then he's got to take care of them. It's just on and on and on because he's on the extreme of being responsible. He automatically attracts his opposite of people who are irresponsible. Because he's an overworker, he attracts underachievers. Now, I know what you're going to say. Wait a minute. I don't want to be lazy. I don't want to be an underachiever. Can't two really highly motivated, successful people join together? Of course they can. But you got to filter for them. And these little boundaries and you can be just as loving, just as giving, but some of this people pleasing stuff has to be modulated. The boundaries have to be in place, and the communication skills to be able to be courageous enough to speak up for what you want and what you need must be in place to attract your equal. Okay? So, over apologizing, me and all the Brits. Okay? Another one. Okay? Feeling responsible for their emotions. Yep. Okay? Right? Who just said this a little while ago? I know you did. Hang on. Shilly. That why do we think that we are responsible for their emotions? Now, if somebody said to you, um, "Are you responsible for taking care of yourself?" You'd probably say, "Absolutely." If somebody said philosophically, "Are most people here, like at the end of the day, they have to do whatever they have to do to take care of themselves?" You'd say, "Sure." But when you're in a relationship with somebody, no. You not only your own focus is just to take care of them. Now, that habitually done becomes an energetic current. And the more you find people that you have to take care of, who are not functional, who are incapable of being in a relationship, who are irrational, who lack emotional regulation, who are volatile, that you have to tiptoe around, walk on eggshells, keep them happy, modulate their moods, anticipate their every need so they don't fly off. I had a friend like this, 20 years, and there was a lot that was good. I 2 years ago, done. No contact, done. That's it. I can't change somebody. I can't change them. I hated who I had to be in that relationship. And the thing is, a lot of the people that we're involved with have some really, they can be really generous sometimes. They can be really loving sometimes, but mostly they're selfish because people pleasers lack a sense of self. Because we're not, I'm not voting for myself first, which is the antithesis of probably what most of you want. Most of you probably admire loving, giving, warm people, and you don't want to become the very people that you've come to hate. But there is another place on the spectrum because when we start thinking in black and white terms, we'll never get the adjustment. So what we have to do is come a little bit more toward the center. Okay. I am all that you mentioned. You are absolutely right. Great content. I'm so happy that you like this because I want to go deeper. Yes, you're all here because of relationships, but honestly, after 25 years, I've said a lot. I probably already said it. I'm so happy you like this. Let's see. Jyoti says, I'm a chronic people pleaser. My boyfriend provokes me, then blames me for my reaction to flip the script. Yeah, sounds like a narcissist. Okay. I end up apologizing as he guilt trips and gaslights me. Your videos on hot and cold have helped me immensely. I have now learned that those people are called avoidance, dismissive avoidance, fearful avoidance, whatever. Like I say, gluten intolerant avoidance. I know a million categories. I challenge you to begin to put down boundaries, Jyoti, and once in a while say no. Or once in a while, when you say something and he gets all upset, say, well, that's your problem, and walk away. It's going to be harsh. I'm going to tell you, sometimes you can get a whole different person out of the same person. And here's the sad thing, I named this Why People Pleasing Pushes Love Away. Overly agreeable people ultimately, they're like lukewarm, watered down milk. They're like, there's no spark. So I'm not saying that you need to be contentious and flighty and manipulative or play games, but you become so passive that people get bored. And the more you do, the less they appreciate it, right? I couldn't understand that. The more I did that should have been appreciated, the less my partner seemed to even notice. And then the partner became petulant and demanding. So I had to up it even more to keep them happy. What happens is we can teach an average person bad behavior in correlation to us if we're not in control of how we're handling this people pleasing thing. Okay. I gave my ex an ultimatum, shape up or I'm gone. Editha, you got it there. I would agree about the selfish people pleasing, people attracted to people. Absolutely. Perfect. It's like a predator knowing how to pick out the perfect victim. There are signs and cues that we give away. Just love this. Let's see. Okay, so I think some of you are talking to each other on here. Jyoti, you are welcome. Um, you'll shock the heck out of them, but they will respect you because actually people pleasing makes them lose respect for us. And the last thing is that we perform instead of connecting. And you show up as this happens mostly in initial dating scenario, and everybody does it, that they show up as they're chameleonic and becoming what they think you want. But what happens is it can extend into the bedroom where you never ever articulate what you want because you're so busy making sure that they're happy. So now the cures. Okay. Step one. I want you all you're going to hear 6 steps. I'm going to ask you to challenge yourself. Take one. Take one, low friction, a little bit. Try it out this next week, just a little bit. Okay? The first one is to practice saying no. saying no to things you don't want to do. Now, your resistance will be, oh my God, I'll hurt their feelings. Is Aunt Gladys, we're supposed to go. Take a low bar. Say no to something you really don't care about. Can you serve on this committee? Oh, I'm so sorry. Yeah, I'd love to, but my workload is to make up an excuse, have an excuse planned if that makes you feel comfortable. I'm not at the point that I can say no, except if a man tries to ask me out that I don't want. I'm very good at that. I'll just say, no, I have to pass. I stop talking. I'm sorry. And then if they keep after, I'll grab some excuses that I know will work just to extricate the situation. Okay. But general, consider yourself busy, even if you're not working. You got your life to take care of. You're busy now addressing your people pleasing. So if somebody asks you in the next week to do something you don't want to do, on a low bar, just say, no, I'm sorry, I can't. Now, then I want you to ask yourself, is this somebody I even want to be involved with? Is the nature of my relationship with this person that they ask me to do things for them, help them move into a house, drive them to the airport, get them a contact? Busy, busy, busy. I'm busy. I've got appointments. I'm sorry. Start to, if you need excuses along the way, the point is to begin to practice saying no. And again, it's easier if you start with a low stakes event, right? A neighbor having a party and you really don't want to go. Most people use the I'm not feeling well excuse. Everybody buys it. I'm sorry, I'm a little under the weather. I don't. But start to analyze who's asking you, why they're asking you, and if you even want them in your life. Because if you say no and they're only here because you do something for them that they need done that they don't want to do themselves, or they don't want to pay to have somebody else do, then you'll discover by saying no, you cut off the breadcrumbs. So now they're not going to come back and ask again. Okay. So this is really good. Okay. I'm being busy taking care of myself. Yeah, you're just busy enough with your own life, but have a couple pat answers. I'm packed up this week. But really start to, when you say no to somebody, okay? Sometimes it's what they're asking you to do. Like if somebody wants me to go to a rave or go out starting at 10 o'clock at night, I'm like, that's a no. No, that's not my lifestyle. Not, do you want to go hang out in a bar where people get drunk? Not my lifestyle. That's a no. Okay. If that means I like that person, I don't want to do that thing. That's an okay person to keep in your retinue. But if it's somebody that asks you to do things and you say no, and it might have been an agreeable thing, but you're kind of just like, you don't want to be with them, don't let that go. Examine it. There's a boundary there. The feelings that we get of resistance are extremely important. They are our indicators. I don't want to do this. And part of healing is another step that I'm going to go to today, which is getting in touch with what you want. You will never be able to say no to them and stop tending to their needs and wants as long, while you know your own. If you have no feelings of your own and you keep repressing them, it's easy to get sidetracked with somebody else managing their life. When you start to acknowledge your feelings, put words to it, then you know what you feel. Now, I actually don't like Jim. I don't know why. I feel uncomfortable. There's something going on. I don't think I want to keep cultivating this relationship with Jim. I'm not fond of the people he's with. I don't want to make it any closer. People will, if they're on the external, just fade away in time. Okay. So again, when you say no, try to do it. Okay. Try this week. One of these six. I suggest no. That's an easy one. Okay. Oh, here's another one. And it goes hand in hand. Pause before you respond. I had to have a boyfriend tell me to wait before I respond on an email because I'm quick to respond right away to get back to them. Because as a people pleaser, God forbid you wait a second for a response to an email. I feel incredibly guilty. A lady called me who's a friend of mine. I let it go to voicemail. But I was putting on makeup, setting up lights in this new location, and I had neighbors coming to pick the grapefruit off my trees, and I had to talk to them. I still feel guilty about the fact that I didn't pick up her phone call at the exact moment that she called. Now, what am I going to do about that? One, rat myself out to all of you. Two, take a look at that. Like, that's not just overly polite. That's coming from somewhere else. So, okay. So, what we need to do when somebody asks you to do something, if you're too uncomfortable to say no, or you're kind of on the fence, say, you know what? Can I get back to you? Let me look at my schedule. Remember, you're all busy. I don't care if all you do is tend to your garden, or you work online, or you are a trad wife. You're busy. You're busy with Pilates, you're busy looking beautiful. Okay. Whatever it is that you're doing. So you have to say, could I get back to you on that? Just give me a moment. And then that gives you time to assess, is this something I want to do? How much effort is it worth? Is it something I believe in? Do I like this person? Am I willing to sacrifice my time, my energy for this? I know it's going to feel uncomfortable because you're going to start to think you're being selfish and a horrible person. But remember, all we want to do is move you from the far end of the spectrum a little bit over to healthier so that you begin to attract people who are equally generous and loving. I, for the first time in many years, have surrounded myself with loving, generous female friends. They're not volatile. They don't fly off the handle. I don't have to manage their emotions. As a matter of fact, they're so willing to do stuff for me that it almost makes me uncomfortable. You're going to feel uncomfortable having people want to take care of you. But if you don't learn how to receive, you'll never be happy in a relationship. And the more that all we do is give, we ruin our relationships because they can't give back to us. And we get more and more passive aggressive and more resistant and angry. Okay. So that's how that rolls out. Okay. So you pause before you respond. Three, you got to know what you're feeling. We have to be able to identify our feelings and put names on it. The more I clean these out, the dirtier they get. Um, so you're not going to be able to understand that feeling in the pit of your stomach unless you can start to put a name. And I remember the first time that I felt anger, I was 41, driving my car, and my stomach got very hot, and I got very agitated. And a thought kept coming up in my head because I realized that my boyfriend had lied to me because I have a good memory for detail on certain things. Not what I did yesterday, not things in my life, but I remember emotional situations around me go in. Like you can tell me about somebody you're dating 10 years ago, I might remember their name. And I've met you once, but I remember the context. And I didn't know what that feeling was. Now, as a child, I wasn't allowed to express anger. Imagine how inconvenient that would be when you have a raging mother. So I can't be angry and I can't be upset by the treatment I get because that makes me the problem. So you'll understand this, some of you, right? So this is a wake up call. I didn't know what it was, but that hot burning feeling and then the anger started to come up and I'm like, oh my God, 40, 40, 41, and I feel anger for the first time because you can get so good at repressing this stuff that you're living on autopilot. And we don't want to do that. We want to have a vibrant life. So start to be able to honor those feelings that you get, put a word to it as best you can. Try and figure out what boundary was broken that made you have that feeling. Did you feel dismissed, criticized, betrayed, lied to? Was something unfair, unjust, a violation of who you are, dishonoring you, abusing you? What happened? And then try to be able to at least articulate it in a sentence to yourself. Very important work, because then you'll start to put the pieces together. And these are the building blocks of being able to get into a really healthy relationship and be really happy doing so. Okay, let's see. Richard, I'm more likely to say yes to things I don't want to do if I know my partner will say yes to things I know she doesn't want to do for me. So that's a lot like the question that was asked, is it okay to take up the hobbies of your partner? So what you've got is a positive negotiation. I love Richard because I know how nice and how generous you are. You you're at the point of understanding all this, that you like to give, but the expectation is that we're in this together and we're both going to give. Okay. And that is considered healthy. It's okay to have an expectation of being treated well. You want a mutually loving relationship that's got the flow of give and take and give and take, and you have to learn how to receive. Okay? So that was identifying. Then the feelings, mistakes, and life. Okay, all the stuff that people do in your life, they're mistakes, not yours to fix. I had to do it when I was living with people because it affected me, right? Like I have some guy living with me and he makes some stupid mistake and I'm going to have to deal with the fallout. But now I don't date those people. I don't have those people. It's a huge learning curve. You just keep getting the same thing until you start to adjust. And we're the ones who have to adjust, not them. We adjust first, that energy currents for those people kind of dies out, and the good people start coming in and you're like, oh my god, why is everybody so nice to me? It's like, well, you're finally attracting healthy people that are more like you. Okay, so their life mistakes are not your responsibility. Fixing them is not your responsibility. Coddling them is not your responsibility. Yes, appreciate them, tell them you love them, you're so big and strong, whatever you need to say, but their life is theirs to do. And we immediately take over. And ladies, we become the mom. And nobody wants to sleep with their mom. Well, nobody healthy does. And you wonder why you're not in bed together. And you wonder why they don't look at you that way anymore. Because you've been doing their work. And whether they know it or not, unconsciously, they're seeing you as the mom and they're resenting you. Guys, you're doing the same thing. You're making her use you because you've taught her. You don't have to deal with consequences. I'll take care of that, honey. You want to rack up a credit card bill? Oh, you want to go buy things? I'll pay for it. And you quickly move from, oh my God, I I nailed a king. I got the most amazing, generous. I'm going to have a great lifestyle. I love this man too. Oh man, he's such a chump. And she's going to cheat on you. Yeah. Too nice, no boundaries, no repercussions. People have to understand consequences for their actions in a relationship. And the most uncomfortable thing that we need to do, and especially if any of you are with younger partners, you have to watch them make the mistakes. You want to tell them, you want to fix them. Think of how you would feel when somebody's dictating to you, how is trying to school you in life. I've had older men do that to me. I'm like, and so then I'm like, you better not do that to younger guys because you know what that's like, or to anybody, right? Okay. So the last thing is, here's your guiding principle. What do I need right now? What do I need? What do I want? What do I feel? What do I need? What do I want? These are the things that are going to cure you. This puts the emphasis back on you. I'm sorry, my glasses, the more I clean them, the smudgier they are. The more that you can think about what do you want, the better you will be. And I know this seems counterintuitive and it feels like you're being exactly everything you hate in other people, but you have to bring yourself more toward the middle. Okay. So you all get that. Does anybody have any questions for me? Because I'm really happy with this content and I hope that you are too. It's, we will keep attracting the people we attract until we start changing ourselves. And that's all there is to it. The energy is built up in a certain way. And even if you begin this process of starting to identify your feelings, isolate what you're feeling, realizing what the infraction was, why are they tripped on to get you to have this feeling? Was it unintentional? Do you need to have a conversation? Was it purposeful? Was it just negligent? you begin to reassess your involvement in all of your relationships. Okay. So you remember all the points that I've said? All right. I'm going to recap one more time. People pleasers are constantly saying yes when they want to say no. They're minimizing their own needs. They're conflict avoidant. They are over apologizing. They feel responsible for other people's emotions, and they seek more to please their partner than please themselves. The cure: start by saying no. Pause before you respond to give yourself a day or two to think, or a couple of hours to really assess if this is something you want to do or you don't want to do, to begin to identify and name and label your feelings so that in time you can articulate them to your partner. And always asking, what do I need? What do I want? And remembering you're not responsible for their life. You're not here to fix them, heal them. In a healthy relationship, we heal each other, just by being ourselves and working through this stuff. And if you're in a fairly healthy relationship and this has catalyzed some feelings for you, and you're able to identify some things that you'd like to work on, you may want to ask your partner to help you on this, because perhaps you're not doing it with them so much, but you do it with a coworker, or you're doing it with a family member. I know there are people that always feel that they have to say yes. And again, the guy that I mentioned earlier, you know, had to move to his mother's home to take care of her. And the sister lives right around the corner, won't do a thing. That's it. Yeah. Let's see. $5. Thank you. So, hi, Golden Hawk. How are you doing? I haven't seen your name in a while. I love seeing it. I saw it last time. Do you ever feel burnt out? Oh my God. From what you do for your audience and schedule off time for yourself. Thank you so much. First of all, I have been burnt out for so many years, I hardly even know the difference. I mean, it's like whipping a dead horse, and I love horses. Um, I'm always energized by all of you. What frustrates me is what I've shared the last 2 years, as I've seen social media, not just YouTube, but Instagram too, push aside the people I followed in my industry and only show me new people, because I'm of the same assumption, like, well, they must have quit, or I guess they're not working anymore. Because unless I violently like things and comment, I'm never going to see them in my feed. So I get exhausted um, working when revenue has taken a horrific downturn, because then it's just me pumping money into the business to keep people informed. So I never feel burnt out helping people, because I get a real kick out of, like, I know what it's like to hurt emotionally, and I know what it's like to not know where to go and to not know who to talk to. And I feel so good if I can take somebody from the beginning of a call to 45 minutes or an hour later and see that they have a game plan, they have their mojo back, they've got some hope, they've got some encouragement. That makes me feel so good, because that's like, okay, done. One person fixed. But it's now, see, the difference is I used to do this all the time. I never charged for it. Okay. So now it's my career. So, I was at 27 million followers before I ever knew how to monetize. I never monetized. I didn't want to make people wait 5 seconds for their help. A little bit of a people pleaser. Who else would do that? It was stupidity. And I didn't know how to make it go technically. And I've never had a staff. I mean, I have people occasionally. I've got some great guys now. So y'all seeing some shorts? I hired these two wonderful Gen Z guys, and oh my God, they're on point. They're on the money. I never have to tell them what to do. I never have to look over my shoulder and wonder if they did it. I had hired people throughout the years that I thought they were doing work, and I realized suddenly they're not. None of the content's there. Like, they're not doing the stuff they were supposed to do. Yeah, they've just quit. It's just like quit working for you. So I've got some really good people, but I am tired because I do not take care of myself. So I'm at a crossroads right now in my own career, and I think about it every day. I've been in between. I don't want to quit altogether. I'm just being really honest, but I'm so It's so much work to be your admin and do everything on your own. It's just hours of work. And I I don't wanna not do anything. That's why I'm kind of getting excited about the podcast, because as I age, it's a lot easier for me to talk than set up the lights and go, "God, I hope I don't get any criticism on my face today," because really, I mean, it's as a woman, you go through that. So, yeah, that's what I like, and I'm gonna look completely different. In New York, it's gonna look like a mugshot from a crack addict. I guarantee you I'm gonna do the best I can with lighting. I'm not gonna look like this. So I try and shoot as many videos here, and I do like my interviews. I like interviewing people, but I think I'm going to like doing podcasts. And the thing is, because I don't monetize on the podcasts, if I don't monetize, I don't monetize. But when YouTube doesn't pay me because 'cause they're not showing me, then I keep wondering why I'm doing the videos, to be honest with you. I really do, because they want you can't feed this beast enough. They want content 6 times a day. Everybody's in my field now. I open up Instagram, I see some 20-year-old person that's giving me relationship advice. I'm like, "Oh my god." I see hundreds of people coming in. I see people that were hardcore marketers teaching you how to build a successful business that have suddenly switched over to this because it's such a burgeoning industry, but I think I've ridden it pretty much to the end. So I am very interested in relationships, but I want to talk about us. I want to talk about self-growth. I want to talk about certainly how it applies to a relationship. But I think I've had most every discussion. I mean, how many times I don't want to be on a repeat, you guys. I really don't. If I'm repeating what I've said, then I don't find that interesting. Helping you, always interesting. But I need to have new conversations and new goals to reach, or I get bored myself. This is a brilliant question. Thank you so much. I'm close with my family and try to stay calm, but when they get angry and talk harshly, it hurts. How should I handle it? Yeah, that's really difficult. I wonder why your family only knows how to communicate through anger. It doesn't sound Is there anybody in your family that can have a discussion rather than a reaction, a triggered reaction? We call this emotional regulation. It is a sign of emotional intelligence and emotional maturity. We all feel stuff all day long. The question is, how do we express that? Some people blurt it out, get it out of their systems. They love this. And they never have high blood pressure and they never have knots in their neck and their muscles. When people who hold it in, I mean, I have the Chinese ladies in New York, they go, "Oh, very, very tight, very tight. Oh, very tight." Like this, like I'm like, so these people, I know the one of the most disagreeable gals I know had a massage, and the therapist, I said, "'Cause she's so muscly," and the therapist said, "Susan, her muscles were like butter." I'm like, "Yeah, she doesn't keep it in. She sprays it on everybody else." So, is there anybody in your family with whom you can actually have a discussion? Remember, arguments and anger, they talk harshly. They do not know how to be diplomatic. You could be the diplomatic one. Now, the only way to counter harsh is you go soft. They're screaming, you speak silently. You do, you got to watch Peaky Blinders, okay, on Netflix. Watch Thomas Shelby. Very calm, very controlled. The power, he keeps the power, he doesn't let it affect them. You watch them, you listen, half the times when people are having these angry outbursts, it's like they've got to get the poison out of their system. And if you happen to be witnessing one, let them spew. Just listen, let them spew. Then you say, "So it sounds like you're," and you recap what they've said, you paraphrase what they said. "It sounds like you're really upset about this." And they go on and on and on and on and on. Yeah, it sounds like that's a difficult situation. So you are aligning with them. So they're not attacking you. You're hearing them. That's one way to unwind them from their anger. There's some great communication books to read, but this is really good. And if you don't have to be present for a lot of these things, try and You know, and when you feel strong enough to say, I love all of you so much, but the communication skills are off. The anger, it makes my stomach hurt. We're supposed to love each other. What's going on here? We can have, this is just like this country. We can have a political difference. I don't have to hate you. I don't have to demonize you. I may disagree with all your facts. I may disagree with what you tell me the facts are, but I don't have to hate you. I need to listen to your position, hear what you have to say. Some of it I'll probably agree with, and much of it I won't. But if we can lower the temperature in the room and get a calm conversation and start to reiterate back what you hear this person saying, now they go from your adversary to your ally because you're really trying to hear them. People who are angry are fearful. So anger is fear. And they're trying desperately to protect their position or whatever they want. So this is why they're fighting so hard for it. The person who's calm and self-possessed is the one who has control. You are the powerful person in the room. So I hope that helps you. Um, can't you transfer this format to Instagram? No. Oh boy, live. Ooh, I don't monetize on Instagram. Um, I've never, it's weird. I can upload an hour-long interview that I've had to Instagram, and I've just learned how to do that. You only do it through Reels, otherwise they cut you off if you do it through posts. But we have not been able to download, I've not been able to download my own videos directly from YouTube. So I don't know. That would be good. My two guys that I work with, the young guys that are so brilliant doing the shorts for everybody, they do them on TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube. And they push them through to threads too. Whatever I did there. Um, they told me they can't download the videos, and they have permission to do that. I've given them permission, so I don't know. Do you feel, oh, Lady Hawk, thank you again. Do you feel you ever have a hard time coming up with new topics for your live streams and videos? Not if they're things I want to talk about. Here's what I don't want to do. And I was instructed by a buddy of mine to do it. I can either go for clicks or I can go for content. And when you see your viewership is being suppressed, your instinct is to want to go for clicks. So sometimes I have in the past titled something that I know is hot right now. It's not that I can't talk about it, but it doesn't feel authentic to me. So more and more, I've thought, I think it's best to talk about things I find interesting. And they'll come with me or they won't. But I think I always did that in the past. I never listened to what anybody did on YouTube. I didn't know what I was doing. I came from television. I was in like nice clothing, shooting on a camera at a distance. Hello, this is Susan Winter from SusanWinter.net, blah, 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 blah. Like just pushing the remote and just talking, right? But I was in the hot and cold because I'd been dating those players and I isolated this behavior and then I saw it had patterns. So one thing I've learned is as we mature, one of the signs of maturity is wisdom. Wisdom is pattern recognition. The older we get, the more we get to recognize patterns. And patterns of behavior are what I've been seeing for several decades now. And so it was fun coming up with the hot and cold stuff. I was already known for older women, younger men. And I thought by the time I'd done Oprah, I'm like, okay, that discussion's over. I don't need to free these people anymore. I think that's been integrated into society. So then when I started on mainstream, I started at the bottom of the barrel. Dating advice. When I'm actually a relationship expert, I'm good with what happens inside a relationship. Dating, I don't even like to date. So, but I found it interesting to talk about the bizarre trends and the games. I thought the dating games, because I mean, you start to see people playing games with you. And part of it is the pickup artists, they started that movement. Then all these women had games. And then the guys were finding women shut down because the women are used to games. Now the women close their hearts. Now the guys are. So that whole odyssey was fun because it was a new topic, completely unique to me. as far as I know. Other people, I'm sure, did it, but I really did it, and I really analyzed it, like, down to the and they go left, and then you go right 1 inch, and I like that situation. So, I'm not sure breakups too, really mastered that category, and so between older women, younger men, dating games, and breakups, the new categories I'd be interested in. I've done love models, but that's very much you designing your own. I think I'm more interested in, uh, now the things that are holding us back, where I think self-growth and, I love talking about things that nobody else talks about. Monetary positions in a relationship. Nobody talks about financial inequality, financial infidelity. Your partner has 5 credit cards. You don't know anything about it, yet you're in charge of the bills. I mean, like, so, I like a lot of topics that people don't cover, and they don't get a lot of clicks because 'cause they're very, very niche, but they're things that aren't. You guys have all this information from everybody else, and it's good. So my interest is really very specific things, and oftentimes things I'm trying to correct. So let me see. Great question. Sorry to repeat. I was interested in this guy at work. I thought he liked me too, but he just left without saying goodbye. You mean forever, forever left, or left that one time? I found his Instagram, but can't follow him since he didn't give it to me. Well, if you found his Instagram account and you clicked on that you'd like to be a friend, then doesn't he have to review you? Then he gets to accept you or not. Luna, it seems like a lot of work. First of all, it's somebody at work. They didn't make a move on you. They didn't necessarily flirt with you. Then they leave. They don't give you any way to contact them. Either they didn't pick up the cues that you like them or they're not interested enough. But it doesn't sound like it's why do you want to walk up a really rocky road? I'm sure there's something a little bit smoother that you could walk on, a nice little footpath with people that are interested. I'd look around a little bit more. As the Dalai Lama said, maybe you'll find a better one. Okay, $10. Richard, lovely man. Okay, Susan, speaking of dating, what would you say are the red flags of people who are looking to date people pleasers? Wow. I think 2 things. I think 1, if they're really good at it and really manipulative, you'll start to do it and catch yourself throwing shit at them. Like, I had to stop myself the other day. I met a girl, and, I knew she needed my help, and before I knew it, at the end of our lunch, I was like, "I can't believe all these things I offered her," and I'm like, "What are you stop. What are you doing? This woman isn't even a friend." I have to catch myself. So if you find requests, favors, it could be that she's testing you. Even so, Richard, you're not going to date somebody who has to test you. People pleasers, you'll know in the first couple of dates. They need your help, asking for things, um, maybe telling you how much they need to be contacted or what they want or where they want to eat, very specific requests. Even subliminal, like, "Oh, my last boyfriend just showered me with presents." That's code for, "And you better too. I just gave you that information. True or not, I need you to think that's who I am." Yeah, so normally they'll give you signs. You'll fall into it. Yeah, yeah. Let's see. Yeah, forever, you're right. He did stare at me and touch my arm a lot, but maybe it is just flirty. Luna, if somebody's got a private account, you request to contact them, and that'll give you the answer if he looks at that at all. Or join him on LinkedIn. That's a place too. Um, I think the mindset that I'm quite precious is not there. I need a lot of work to see myself valuable. Only then can others too. All of us, all of us. Um, Yeah, because remember now, all these things come from someplace that really served us. For me, with my mom, She was always in competition with me. And let's be honest, a bright, interesting, interested little girl um, will draw focus. And I learned to minimize my power and always and I couldn't find female friends. So I would have to disparage myself in conversation, like, oh, I hate my legs, and oh, I'm so fat, or this, like just to get them to feel comfortable around me. So I have another girlfriend, s- stellar, beautiful, rich is just diamonds, like, I mean, you've never seen things like this before. Inside, she's soft, and I see her with this self-deprecation. She's also British, so it's part of the thing, but I realized that she did it so other females won't feel so intimidated around her, because whatever they assess her to be, they're sensing her power, but she wants to be friends, so she's pushing it down. So little by little, this is all little by little. This work that you have to do saved you somehow. I guarantee you, from a sibling, a family member. You found your pecking order to not shine because somebody else had to. And that's how you secured the love you wanted. Now, to turn that around so that you do know you deserve love, you're already at step number one. It's a conscious decision. Susan, what did you have to change about yourself or your approach to get mentally stable and good friends? I'm concerned that it's too late to start over with friendships. Oh, good God, do you know how old I am? My God in heaven. So I fired all the people that I didn't like or who did nothing but like paw at me for stuff, and I didn't get anything back from. And I mean, not like they could do anything for me because I don't need resources or connections or anything, but I didn't get like this on the inside. I didn't get a they're really here for me. It's not that they don't hate me, they like me, but I didn't get that I'm really comfortable here. And I made up my mind that I would do some uncomfortable things. And I went to another location. I only drew friends from the gym. So the pecking order was who looks in shape, and lovely people, some great people, but it was a different caliber of people. And I started going to a private club in New York because working alone, never in an office, I didn't meet people who were, like really doing something entrepreneurial or social services or with a company, very successful people. And out of those very successful people, the few that I felt that had a heart, that were open-hearted and kind and loving, but very ambitious and in right order. I met my best friend Joan at a lecture on AI, ethics in AI. It was like 2018, 2019. Just the most gracious, giving, generous person. And I will defer to being alone rather than let somebody into my circle. And I have to also sadly understand that not everybody who wants to get to know me is here because they want to like me, because they want to be a friend, because I've been fooled by that my whole life. Like, oh, you like me. No, you want to ride my pony. No, you want to go to the lake. No, you want to go here. You want to go there. So I've had to learn now to assess, who's your 2 a.m. call? I've got my 2 a.m. calls. It's hard when you learn to receive because now people are giving to you, and it's really hard to accept it because you feel like I can't do enough for you. Like, look at Gwyneth and B every Thursday night. This is an unpaid position. They're eating dinner. I remember they used to go with their little iPhones or whatever and camping through Poland during COVID. I mean, extraordinary. So it's gonna feel weird before you start to get there. Now, I've taken up way too much of your time, but I'm so glad you like these conversations. They are for you. W Everything we complain about on the outside, chances are we got something we can adjust on the inside with ourselves, and that's the beautiful thing about all of this, that we can keep switching partners, or we can start to correct some of these behaviors. Okay, one more thing before I leave. I don't want to keep you all waiting. Can't even begin to pronounce your name. Ong. I'm going to say thank you so much. 4.99. What's the best way to remove a bad person from the dream and not feel sad or lonely at the same time? Okay, Perfect. They were your catalyst for the dream. Technically, a catalyst does not get transferred or changed. A catalyst only activates you. They do not receive a transformation. So they're the spark that lit the match, and the match started the flame. You're going to think of them as the cab driver, okay? Your dream is like you're going on a vacation. You're going to Bora Bora or the Maldives. And you're so excited about this. You've seen it in your mind, you planned the hotel, you've got this beautiful dream. And the cab driver picks you up. Do you stop at the airport terminal and go like, oh my God, thank you. I love you. You brought me to the edge of my dream. Oh my God, don't leave me. The cab driver's like, dude, I drive. Like, this is all I do. I was just your catalyst. I'm not taking, the dream is over here. I just drove you to the doorway. Okay. You got to get out of my cab now. And that's why they fail, because they're kicking you out of the cab. Maybe that'll help you as an analogy, because you're not going to hang on to the person that brought you there. And here's the twist in the mind. It's like, damn it, you sparked this dream. Now you're leaving? Now you can't do it? How dare you bring me to this point of seeing everything I want, and you're not going to be the one? Oh, it's furious. But it was never their job. They were just the catalyst. And that's the weird thing, because we fall in love with the catalyst. And all they did was they were the messenger. That's it. That's it. So you keep the dream, you replace the person. I got a mug and t-shirts. I want you. And they ship internationally. I don't know. You could be in San Francisco. I have no idea. So they ship internationally. Get yourself the mug that says keep the dream, replace the person. Get a t-shirt, get a baseball cap, get a water bottle. I do my consider this. What if it's all perfect? In the midst of all this stuff that we're realizing about ourselves, like, oh my God, I'm a people pleaser. And I always say, I'm sorry. I keep attracting narcissists and people that want to use me. You say, well, maybe it's all perfect. Maybe in the scheme of things, it's all perfect. And I'm on my way to someplace incredible. Let's just see where it takes me. So you're going to be fine. Now, in consideration of B and Gwyneth, because I'm sure B's had a long day at work, and Gwyneth, who's had a long day with everything else, I love you all. I will see you next week from Manhattan. Yes, thank you. The lighting is beautiful out here because I'm in Arizona. So we're going to see. Please bear with me, because no matter what I do, it's the best I can do. So all of you, I'll see you next week. My very best to you. Go over some of these points that I stated. I'll see if I can drop this into Instagram. I don't know. Like I said, we've not been able to download. It's a glitch within YouTube. My guys just wrote me an email yesterday. You can't download any of my videos. I had to give them the originals. So everybody, thank you so much for your contributions. Thank you for letting me have a wonderful conversation with you on things that I think are really important, that are going to help all of you. Shilly, B, Richard, Jyoti, Onyoy, sorry, my dear Gladys, all of you, thank you so much. And I'll see you next week from the Big Apple. Okay, everybody, saying goodbye from the land of cowboys, cactus, and coyote. See you next week. Bye-bye. Thank you.